Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech 1010, Introduction to IT System or IT Foundation. Today is the second part of our recording for HCI, Human-Computer Interaction. And today, as you may notice, that the PowerPoint is not coming from our textbook. But this is something that I compile over the internet to give you more supplemental introduction, give you a more um, deep knowledge to deepen your understanding of HCI. And this is more from the research, computer research, and scholastic perspective to give you more insight about HCI development and then advancement. Okay. So let's begin. I plan to do this recording in about 30 to 40 minutes. So hopefully this will make sense. Um, so first of all, let's talk about HCI. Make sure that you can see this. Um, Human Computer Interface, HCI, was previously known as the Man-Machine Studies or Man-Machine Interaction. It deals with the design, execution, and assessment of computer systems and related phenomenon that are known that are used for human use. So it's really a cross multidisciplinary um, fields of research, uh, such as computer science for application design engineering, psychology for applications of theories and analytical purpose. Also sociology for interaction between technology and organization. So how we are going to design a software that will benefit the companies, different organizations, how we are going to design a software that is a more user friendly and make sure that people like it instead of every time looking at your software and then they feel really depressing or something, they do not like it. So these are the principles and the different research fields that get involved into HCI development. Industrial design for interactive products like mobile phones, microwave ovens, and a lot more. Home intelligence, or even the modern weaponry system, or even the radar system. You know, a lot of things could happen. So the world's leading organization for in HCI is ACM, and there is also a subsidiary organization or for research paper as it's called SIGCHI, which stands for Association. ACM stands for Association for Computer Machinery, and SIGCHI stands for Special Interest Group on Computer-Human Interaction. Uh, and this organization specifically defines the computer science to be the core discipline of HCI. Next, let's talk about these 8 golden rules. As we see, let's read these notes underneath this picture that I took on from some other external resources. So these guidelines are beneficial for normal designers as well as interface designers. Using these 8 guidelines, it is possible to differentiate a good interface design from a bad interface design. So these are beneficial in experimental assessment of identifying a better GUIs. So let's take a look at what these 8 rules are. Strive for consistencies. We know that. Cater to universal usabilities. Offer informative feedback. That's right. Consistencies and feedback. We have seen it in the first recording and in the textbook. Design dialogues to yield closure. For example, I want to make sure that you understand this process is ended. For example, happy ending or end up with errors. And what kind of errors that I'm going to give you? Um, would I give you a retry or I just ended up the whole process? So that's like a closure, right? Prevent errors. Uh, For any preventative errors, a good design should do the validation, checking, and then feedback, and before you submit or continue, right? Um, and if there are too many steps involved, and if some steps are getting something wrong, and then you go to the last step, and then you try to submit, and then there could be a lot of factors to affect the final outcome, and then you might have some bizarre errors. So in order to proceed to the next step, we want to make sure that the previous steps are okay, So thinking about a multi-page, a multi-step HTML form in your application or to something, right? If if the form validation is sort of a feedback, you can use Ajax, you can do a quick event checking on some of the text field, and if it's red circle, that means it's mandatory and you have to fill it out before you actually proceed to the next step. Uh, Permit easy reversal of actions, go back, for example, Control Z, go back. Uh, Support internal locus of control, reduce short-term memory load. Okay, let's take a look at next page. Concept of usability engineering, goals of usability engineering. This is another thing. So effective to use, efficient to use, error-free in use. This actually there are different interpretations of the previous 8 rules, right? But this is much like reduced to five rules. Easy to use, enjoyable to use, delightful experiences, user-friendly. These are the same thing, right? And error-free and the efficient. To me, error-free and efficient are the same thing. So fast and easy and enjoyable and effective, they're the same thing. So to me, it is number one, easy, number two, efficient. So it can be really, abstract down to 2 rules, right? Um, Next, let's take a look at interactive devices, touchscreen. We have seen a lot of peripheral devices, and um, some people, some prophets prophesied decades ago, saying, "Oh, one day we might have a foldable mobile phone. We have a foldable widescreen phone. Everything happened today, right? Anybody see folding mobile phone? I think maybe Samsung, they have one, right? After vigilant selection of these devices, developer customized the touchscreen experiences. And in HCI, touchscreen can be considered as a new interactive devices. So I'm not going to read every characters on the screen, but I just would like to bring this up, touchscreen. History. This is a little history that I won't go into too details, but in 1946, as we know, the first computer I always mention in UPenn, right? We invented the first computer. Visual display unit, 1950s. I will imagine that is a very um, ancestor of but it's a air defense system of the United States used in early version of VDU. So this is used for military, of course. Development of the sketchpad in 1962 um, for sketchpad that proved that computer can be used more than just data processing. It can be for monitoring matrices, you can be used for stocks, trading, games, and all that happened later. Introduction of word processor mouse in 1986. Introduction of personal computer 1970s. So how interesting is that the mouse and word processor actually came before the personal computer. Personal computer does not mean it's a computer because remember the early computer, first computer happened in 1946. And we didn't even know that is really that year, the military invented the computer. But personal computer differs from commercial computers for business. So maybe business computer come early. That's the motive for developing a mouse and word processor, which is 2 years earlier than the PC machine. Windows and WIMP interfaces. Um, simultaneous jobs at one desktop switching between work and screens, so it will allow you to switch different screens. The idea from metaphor, we talk about that. Uh, in 1982, direct manipulation introduced by this is first using Apple Mac PC in 1984. Um, so all these, why Apple was so popular today, there's a reason for that. So 1998 3W and ubiquitous computing. So I'm gonna skip to the next slide. So application of HCI in different domains. So let's take a look at it. Banking, yes. Your ATM. Education, yes. Healthcare, yes. Monitoring. And HCI, a lot of specialized medical devices for CT and for this and for that for screening your heart, your lung, and for your chest for the scan and all that, right? You have to have a screen and you have to have a touch up screen, and to micro focus on some area to actually zoom in, zoom out to see the the blood vein, the blood vessels, in your heart chambers, some areas when you do the medical scan, right? In networking. Okay, these are the applications. Let's take a look. Um, I'm not going to go too detailed, but um, HCI more or less today deals with 3D animations to visualize process. Um, Also, it's also transforming a surgical process. There is a virtual reality VR, and also there is a AR, augmented virtual reality. The differences between these two is that virtual reality make computer everything is like stitches images from the environment or images made by computer. But augmented reality is actually using some of the real pictures from nature from outside with some synthesized images from made by computer. And they were stitched around both man-made and natural images to make it more realistic. Um, so banking is that we have a network banking, we have net banking and mobile banking, so you don't have to go to bank anymore. A lot of bankers were released from normal bank visit. You don't have to line up in a long line, right? Uh, More use cases of HCI smart home, like I said, Google Smart Home. Um, you can have a smart a rice cooker at home, and then you can brew some meat. The device has a controller, has an IP. You can control it on your phone. So while you're at working or you're driving, and it will take you an hour to go back home, and then you can just say, well, press the button, so my burger or my meat in a cooker is being cooked and stewed, right? And then you stewed, and then you also have your rice cooked or something, that's all good. Smartphones for visual disabilities, visual assistants. For instance, even you talk to Siri, you talk to Google Voice and that type of thing. It is also HCI. And one another good application for HCI is you use your fingerprint, you use your face scan for verifications. That's also HCI. And also the goggles that you have hold IP, receive wireless signal, and then there is a small little processors inside of it, an AI chip. So what it can do is that it will translate, for example, Russian into English. And some of the goggles, when you wear it, it's really like a screen, computer monitor in front of you. You are actually in a virtual world. You're in a virtual world, and then it can do the voice, and you can do a voice command, and as if you turn on a computer. For example, um, you can basically wear a goggle and then hold maybe some sensor in your hand, and then you can basically play tennis in one day. Today we use our eyes and then we have an Xbox or a Wii, right, to play tennis. But maybe one day you wear a goggle and then you lie down on a couch and then you see the tennis court and then it's all 3D. Just like if you visit San Diego in Hollywood, right? You can see some of the 3D effects on the wall during the trip. So that's something that is going to happen in very soon. Um, page 10, let's see. Page 10, we have a design process and task analysis, HCI design, identify the requirements. This is the workflow. Building alternative designs and developing interactive versions of designs, evaluating designs. Three principles for user-centered approaches are early focus on user and task, empirical measurement, iterative design. This is also similar to other software design principle as well. For any software system that you're trying to design, iterative design and modular design is always good. Page 11, design methodologies. There are various methodologies ever since the beginning of this research field. Activities theory, user-centered design, principle of user interface design. There are some like consistency, simplicity, visibilities, accordance, tolerance, a lot of things, right? This is for UI UX kind of thing. And user-centered design, there are also some principles. Value-sensitive design. This will more focus on um, three studies, conceptual, empirical, and technical. Um, let's take a look at empirical. Empirical investigations are quantitative and quantitative design research studies. Basically, you rely on survey, customer feedback, based on data science, large amount of data that you analyze to draw the rule and conclusion to help you design the right thing. Shows the designer's understanding of users' value, right? So you get a survey, you ask them, do you like a purple color or you like a black color more? Something like that. Uh, Participatory design. This is another uh, rule, kind of like a mandatory rule that involves all the stakeholders in the design process. So who is the stakeholders? Let's put it this way: project manager, program manager, or anybody who have the power to speak in a board so that the end results meets everybody's desire. For example, if your boss doesn't like it, or that's your customer's boss, your customer's team, right? And um, if they say something they don't like it, then you have to do the redesign and negotiation on the redesign. So this is really this is a rule that is not just applied to HCI, but also applied to software design, architectural, landscape architectural, product design. This is pretty much the philosophy of rule used ubiquitously. For example, for as long as you have a customer to cater, right? You have to make sure that your planning, urban design, even medicine or even graphics design, sustainability is product design, everything you have to cater and then ask the opinion of your clients, right? Um, Dialogue design. This is very intuitive. I do not want to focus too much. You guys can download the slide and take a look at it. There's a lexical and syntactical, semantic for the dialogue. So this is kind of um, important. The dialogue is not just a pop-up window, but in the context of AI bots, right? When you're chatting in a chatting window, chatbots, dialogue also means that, the interactions. Um, so it's really about the content, not about the form. Um, all right, let's move on to next, introduction to formalism. There are many formalism techniques, and I just would like to give you a little bit keywords right here so that you can feel not too alien in the future if you see some of these. The state transition network, STN, the state charts. So it's basically you use a lot of state charts and diagrams to convey your idea of design. right? Because it's a state machine, right? For completeness and closure of the whole design. So the formalism use arcs and circles. This is about, talking about what kind of tools and chartings that you're going to use. For example, STN diagram looks like this. Start, manual, circle, finish, line, finish. Two branches. And then the arc is actually the action. And this in a circle is the noun, is the artifact, right? Manual or something. Page 17, state charts, active state, basic states, super states. Let's take a look at this. Illustration, this is a diagram. Sometimes, design of such stuff, it's like a state machine. It's kind of complex to use a few thousand words to describe it. For example, I have a few hundred words right here on the left-hand side. It's really annoying. Nobody wants to read it, right? People wants to focus their eyeballs on the right-hand side, on the charts, and figure out, whoa, how do I read this? So I'm not going to read it in the exact order or try to explain what this is doing, right? I'm just going to tell you that the state chart, the diagram is always better than the words. One diagram, good diagram, is better than 1,000 words, right? That's the idea. Pair tree nets. This is a simple model of active behavior. We have place, transition, arc token. This is another type of thing. Okay, visual thinking. Visual materials has assisted in communication process. We have a different needs for this visual thinking. So let's move on. Visual metaphors, associations, analogies, abductions, and blending. You can read this out. I am not going to go slide by slide. I'm just trying to show you the content that I'm providing you. Direct manipulation programming. Such process may use many sources to get an input and finally convert into output. Item presentation sequence. So let's take a look at this. Alphabetic sequence of terms, grouping of related items, most frequently used items first, most important items first. Yes. If you're a product designer and then you're actually design an Amazon system, right? You want to get a user's cookie, user's consumer behavior, try to recommend some products that's the user are inclined to buy, or give some suggestions at least, right? Or you list it out if you capture zero of the consumer habits when user logging and landing on your first page, then what you are trying to do is that you're going to show him or her the best sellers that you did, right? Because the best sellers has a large probability to be sold quicker and even better if you show the new customers, right? Page 23, manual layout, I'm going to leave that up. No, I'm going to leave this out. Direct manipulation programming. This is about, let's just read a little bit and then you know what direct manipulation is. Consistent grammars. If you have an S plural, you make sure you use S. Do not have inconsistencies, right? Items should be sequenced meaningfully, should be grouped meaningfully. Subtrees should be items as titles. Position should be shown as graphics, numbers of titles, such etc. Right? 24th, form filling dialog boxes. Appropriate for multiple entry of data fields, complete information should be visible for user. Display should resemble familiar paper forms. Some instructions should be given for different types of entries. User must be familiar with keyboards, use of tab keys and mouse, or move to the cursor. Error correction methods, field label meaning, permissible fields contents. For example, if you design mobile app using a desktop mouse and keyboard, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. That's why we we'll design the mobile app in a very little different way, right? Like a hamburger menu or the long scroll um, for a very narrow screen. For example, those are all the new UI UX design, right? Um, Form filling boxes, title should be meaningful, of course. The form should be visually appealing, yes. If it's not appealing, error prevention, yes. Everything about error, you have to pay attention to that. Completion signal should populate. Basically means you have to tell user it's done, right? Um, let's take a look at this. Information search and visualization. Yes, yes, database. Database is such a thing that we cannot miss out in our life. So database is being used everywhere. Database query is so useful. I do not have to mention how useful it is. It is just mandatory. Any software system, it's just a scheme. It's just like a scheme, paper scheme. If it does not have a database in the back, right? And everything that you're going to render, the data is actually coming from database. However, people's need does change. For example, previously you write a query and you give me a tabular data display in a form of similar to Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. But later on, people get very sick of reading the data because the data is massive, and then it doesn't make any sense. You show me. Well, if you show me 5 to 10 records, that's fine. I can know, well, that many. If it's a couple of million records, I'm not going to skim through all the records. So what people wants to know is people's brain tends to be lazy and simple. So what we want to do is that we want to see the business rule and insights as much as possible. If not, then you're going to do the visualization to help me understand in the large scale of the 1 million records that return as an output. And I want to know not just single record. If I need a just single record, I'm going to search up that single record and either do a correction of the fields to update the data. But if I search for like more than 5,000 records, what is the meaning of that? And my real purpose is to visualize those 5,000 records and hopefully a pie charts or a bubble charts or scatter plot charts so I can know more about inside of it, right? Um, Next, let's take a look at multimedia document search. This is sound search, video search, animation search, design diagram search, map search. Google Map, right? Who can live without Google Map? And image search. Actually, in your iPhone, if you have image albums or the photo app, um, try to go back home and do this. If you have a bicycle or motorcycle, or you have some fishing pictures, you have fish appear in the pictures, you just search for bikes, motorcycle, or fish and see. Actually, Apple did the image processing and tag each of the photo with the characteristics that is found in a picture. For example, if you search for fish, then all the pictures in the past 5, 6 years with a river fish or with the ocean fish that you went for fishing, you get a fish in the picture, it will find all the pictures for you. That's called image search. So this is a proprietary pattern in Apple's phone, iPhone. And sound search, it's very helpful if you are making a TV show and then you have so many movies in the past, right? And then video search as well. If you're in the advertisement company and then you want to reuse some of the funny um, South Park or um, Simpson Family, some conversations regarding some predictions, something funny, and you want to find out the video search which Simpson video that talks about Trump or some other celebrities, and then you want to search them all, and a video search can be a useful tool, right? Uh, Information visualizations. These are interactive visualization, illustration of conceptual data that strengthen human understanding. I'm gonna move to the next page. Advanced filtering. Yes. So filtering will narrow down the search. Sometimes I will give you a quick view, right? So in the UI view, not only filter, I also want to like sort it in a ascending or descending order. All those features are actually uh, very useful. Next page, we're going to talk about hypertext, HTML, and hypermedia, right? Hypermedia, on the other hand, is an information medium that hosts different types of media, such as video, CD, so on and so forth, right? Um, Hypertext and hypervideo media, you can think of, that's today's internet. Object action interface model for websites, OAI, GUI. Uh, So this model allows user to perform action on objects. So I'm not going to go to detail. Let's move to the next page. Object-oriented programming paradigm, OOP. This is also part of the OCI, to my surprise. Um, so programming actually starts from a concept of abstracting a car, a real-world objects for classes, and then classes have actions and fields. Fields are like attributes and properties, and then functions are setter, getter, and some other utility functions, right? For the class actions. And application is divided into numerous packages. Yes, for modularities. A package is a collection of task classes. Yes, that's a modular concept. Objects, real world objects share two characteristics. They have a state and behavior. So I'm gonna just skip data encapsulation, public interface, class interface. This is OO, still OO design. Okay. Um, Object-oriented modeling. Again, this is OO programming, and then we have a tutorial point. I have a link where I'm getting this from. All right. Next, I would like to provide you some external resources. There is a HCI international conferences, uh, Copenhagen, Denmark. Okay. Uh, if you're interested, make sure you check it out. Let's see, next one. It is another meeting information. It's the same conference, but it's different schedule. Look at the Sunday uh, topic by different speakers. This is a voice user interface VUI design. For instance, this is a human algorithm design. So there are a lot of different topics I would like to show you. This one is automotive UX design. Automotive UX design. And let's come to the last page. We are right on 40 minutes. Last one, introduction to interactive visualization and data storytelling. All right. I think I just concluded for the second part of HCI. And I might, next class, I might mention something extra for data visualization. And thanks for coming and listening to my second part of HCI. And I will see you in next session.